The Alpha Sessions.
Hi everyone and welcome to Alpha Sessions. Today I'm really excited because we have Somewhere in the Wildwood, aka Matthew Harrison. Welcome, Matt. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Yeah, really excited to talk to you because you've got a lot going on. It's been a good year so far for you. I just wanted to go straight into it and ask you, how did you start out on your music journey, and when did you decide that you wanted to pursue your music professionally?
Wow, well, I've been playing music or playing the guitar, trying to play the guitar at least since I was about 12 or 13. Started off playing in punk rock bands and doing the whole electric guitar, jumping around the stage kind of thing.
Which is a bit different to your music now, right?
Very different, yeah. Very, very different. Still love that kind of music, but now I'm a little calmer on stage, I think. And then eventually over time, my tastes and the genres that I was listening to just kind of progressed and changed. And I play and have played in a country band for the past sort of 10, 12 years. And then I decided in 2019 to just splinter off and do a little side solo project, as I hadn't played any music, just me by myself out there in the open for years and years and years. So I thought, okay, there's stuff that I want to talk about and sing about that perhaps doesn't necessarily fit the vibe of my band, Hometown Show, which is really upbeat, drinking music, country music. And so I decided to do this solo project, Somewhere in the Wildwood, which is folk singer songwriter on the acoustic guitar and the banjo, and now here we are.
Yeah. So have you always been songwriting, or did that kind of really start to kick off a couple of years ago?
No, always been songwriting. Yeah, I've kind of always been really interested in being lead vocals and the songwriter. And yeah, so that's something I've always done, really. And thankfully, the songs have progressed from those punk rock days when they weren't that great to now. And so in shape.
Yeah, definitely. And what instruments do you play? Because there's quite a few on the EP. I know it's not you playing all of them, but you play at least a couple, right?
Yeah, so I play on the EP. I play the acoustic guitar and the banjo. So I play the claw hammer banjo, which is around here somewhere, not to hand, unfortunately. But I play the claw hammer banjo. But I also play bass guitar and mandolin and harmonica, various different instruments. Again, not all on the record, but and not all at once. But those are the instruments that I play.
Yeah. And where does the name come from, Somewhere in the Wildwood?
So I wanted to really talk about mental health a lot and have that take sort of center point of the whole project. And a wildwood is an area of the forest that has been left to kind of overgrow and grow naturally and freely. And so I kind of saw that as almost a description of my mental health. Like, sometimes your brain is a little cloudy and it's kind of tough to see where you're headed at points, but somewhere in that fog and that cloud are the things that you're looking for, be it the creativity or some solace and things like that. So I felt like Somewhere in the Wildwood, that's what it is, and that's what it's become.
We're foraging around. We're all foraging around in that world.
That's it, exactly. We're all trying to find something to hold on to, or to, be creative with, or find, solace in, especially in things like music. We want to connect to something and listen to music and be like, oh, I felt that too, or I've been there and someone else is singing about it. So that's where it comes from.
Yeah. So you've recently released your EP, Beautiful Songs, and you have got 6 beautiful songs in it. I love the EP.
Much.
Really a big fan of the EP. But something that is really interesting about it is that you recorded it all during lockdown with different musicians across all different parts of the country. So tell us a little bit about the EP. What's the general theme of it, if there is a theme, and what was it like writing and recording it?
Well, I bought this little microphone during the first lockdown period, which just plugs into the side of my iPhone. It's called a Shure MV88. And I thought, well, look, I'll buy this mic because everything's streaming and I won't have a chance to get into a studio for God knows how long. So at least I've got a little bit of, extra sound quality that I can use for streaming and recording some demos and stuff. And I recorded a couple of demos with it, and it went well. And I thought, why am I just sitting on these demos? I could do something with them. I could make something of this. And I felt like we're living in a very specific period of time in terms of, the internet generation, and we're all connected, and that's a wonderful thing, especially in COVID time. And I thought, let's make a record that is just raw and open and honest, and use this little microphone to record my guitar and vocals and banjo. So, a lot of it's recorded with iPhones, and I wanted the record to be representative of the period of time that we're in, in terms of COVID being in lockdown, and in terms of it was made on whatever we had access to. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. Folk music, after all, is songs that have been passed down through generations and sung round a campfire, and the lyrics have been taken and changed, and they've been recorded onto scratchy vinyls and things like that. And I thought, well, that's what folk music is. It's little creaks and crackles and breaths, and maybe a bum note here and there, but that's the beauty of what the songs are. And there was a really lovely John Peel quote where someone was saying to him, I don't like vinyl because of the surface noise. And John Peel said, mate, life has surface noise. And I think that's so good. That's so true, isn't it? And again, with mental health being at the forefront of these songs, I thought that's perfect. Life does have surface noise. This record may not be perfect. It may not, it may have cracks and popples, but that's what makes it what it is, and hopefully people listen to that and appreciate it. And it was recorded on iPhones, and obviously some of the musicians had decent equipment to be able to record some of their parts. But the first single I put out, 58, I think like 5 of the 6 instruments were recorded using phones. And I think when you listen to it, you won't tell.
You definitely can't tell. That's actually one of my favorites on there. You can't tell. There's lots of different musicians on that track, aren't there? Who's in that one? Now your sister is featured on harmonies, right?
Yeah, well, she's my musical sister. Yeah, Megan Linford. She's amazing. We play in the same band. Played in the same band for a very long time, and she sings harmonies on that. And I have Matt Elstone, who's the brother of the guy who mixed the record. He plays cello, and Johnny Elstone, who mixed the record, I think he plays bass on that, maybe. And also Mel Maloney, she plays violin. And
I love the violin on that. Everything just adds so much to it, doesn't it?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and Ollie Parker on the trumpet, which just gives me chills every time it comes in. So yeah, I think, and some of these people I've not even met in real life before. We've just connected over the internet and made music together, which is such a beautiful thing, isn't it?
I was going to say, what was it like collaborating with them?
It was fairly easy, to be honest. It was. I mean, it would be so nice to be in the same room and the same studio to be able to do that. But actually, I would say it was a fairly easy process, to be honest. And everyone was super on board and got where I was coming from with the feel of the record and everything like that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Of fun.
I wanted to ask you about your songwriting process. Do you normally go through quite a few rewrites until you've got something that you're really happy with, or what's the process like for you?
Yeah, I think 58, especially, that song went through a lot of changes. I think it really took me probably about 4 or 5 months to get it to where I actually wanted it to be. It went on both this physical and metaphorical journey. I started writing it in the Netherlands, and then I came back and went to stay with some friends in Birmingham and kind of touched it up there, and then I came back to Portsmouth, and
it's a well-traveled song.
Yeah, and then I finally finished it out in Berlin last year, the beginning of last year, and then it finally took shape, really. So yeah, I'm always thinking about the journey that the songs are on, And yeah, I think you know, I recorded some music before, like I recorded 58 before with just me and the acoustic guitar, but it just didn't feel right. I could always hear other instruments in the background whenever I listened to it. And I thought one day I'll come back to it and I'll add those instruments in. And now it's really taken shape on the EP. Also,
your oh, actually, I wanted to ask you, what is that track about?
Well, I feel like I want to leave some mysteries here. I mean,
okay, well, just a little hint. Go on.
I think it's about making mistakes and being able to recognize those mistakes within yourself, and taking yourself on a journey of being able to admit fault, admit mistakes, and
which isn't always easy, is it? It's not.
No, it's not easy at all. And recognize mistakes others have made, and how that's shaped you, and how it's shaped relationships around you, and your relationships with others, and yeah, your relationship to yourself in your own mind, really.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I left my lives with lovers who now have 1,000 tales to tell. I traded dreams and secret things for nights you'd soon forget. Oh, I could disappear, my girl, yes I could go and hide, but I'm so tired of running from these thoughts inside my mind. Oh, that love you thought you'd never feel is here inside of me, still right where it's always been. I'm a silhouette of what I was and what I have become. I know that what was there before you'd sooner just forget. Well, these days are all but done, and now that we're apart, I'll forever be the lover longing for your precious heart. Oh, that love you thought you'd never feel is here inside of me, still right where it's always been. Yeah. Well, I feel the winter picking up, oh, it's blowing through the pines. I cannot sleep, I've been awake for weeks now at a time. Well, we could have another drink, yeah, we could paint the town. We could walk the long way back, follow the canal. Oh, that love you thought you'd never feel is here inside of me, still right where it's always been. Oh, that love you thought you never feel is here inside of me, exactly where it's meant to be.
The Alpha Sessions.
Now you're based in Portsmouth on the coast.
Yeah.
Would you say that like being near the sea and being a bit closer to nature has kind of inspired you in any particular way?
Yeah, definitely. I love being by the coast, and especially being out in the woods. We're really lucky to have kind of both ends of the spectrum, the city and the coast and the woodlands as well. So yeah, it's really important to me to be amongst nature, and I really like going out and taking long walks out in the woods and just thinking about everything, thinking about the music, writing lyrics. And I actually recorded some audio on the record out in one of the forests out here. So yeah, I wanted it to have that connection to nature as well. So it's super important for me. It's always nice going off and traveling and playing gigs elsewhere, but it's also really nice coming back to the seaside as well.
Yeah. In fact, last year you did really well in terms of like you gigged in Budapest, Berlin.
Yeah.
What was that like doing that abroad? What were the audiences like compared to the Brits?
Oh, amazing in all honesty. Berlin especially, I mean, it's such an amazing music scene. Everyone's so supportive, and it's such a great network of musicians. I met some incredible people out there, and I miss being there so much. But yeah, it's so different. I mean, it's always so busy, and everyone's really invested in the music and really attentive. And yeah, it's a very special music scene. And Budapest as well. Again, such a supportive network of creative people. I was so fortunate to be able to play out there. So hopefully once things start lifting and we start getting back to some normality, hopefully I'll be able to get back out there.
Be out on the road again.
Yeah, because we had to cancel a tour. I was doing a tour with Megan and myself and our friends band, Me and the Moon. And that was meant to start April last year. And we were off in Manchester, Sheffield, all over the place. And sadly, obviously, it had to be cancelled. But hopefully we can start rebooking these things and get out there and play some music.
Yeah, definitely.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is also a really exciting time for you because you're just about to release the title track off the EP, A Beautiful Song, which we're really excited about. How do you feel about it, like pre-release? Do you get excited, nervous? Like, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I guess I get nervous. But then I always worry about how people are going to receive it and what they're going to think of it, and how many people are going to listen to it and all that kind of stuff. But I think the people who listen to it and will take it for what it is. And you know, that song, I'm basically releasing it a year after writing it, so it feels nice for it to finally be out there in the world. And it's one of my favorite Somewhere in the Wildwood songs, and I found a lot of solace in writing that song. So hopefully people can find
love that one
themselves. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And also the final song on the EP, Flowers, is very kind of like the banjo's at the forefront of that one.
Yes,
which I love. And I love the line in the song that flowers falling from above. I just thought that was like such a strong visual image. So I love that song. I wanted to ask you, how do you decide, or do you decide which song is going to be kind of like more banjo led, what is going to have like more instruments? How did you decide that one was going to be like a banjo song?
I felt that's what the record was lacking a little bit. There's banjo in the background of some.
There is, isn't there, in the background?
Yeah, but I just felt like, and Johnny and I, who mixed the record as well, we spoke about there needs to be a banjo song in there, because I love the banjo. I think it's such a beautiful instrument, and the tone of the banjo that I have and everything like that. I think it's really special. So it was just a case of I want a banjo song to finish the record. Really, I think it is something really interesting to finish it, because the record starts with a solo song, just me and the acoustic guitar, and then it ends with a solo song, me and the banjo. And so I think that was quite a nice bookend to the record, because obviously in the middle there's all these songs with, you know, harmonies and cello and trumpet and all that kind of stuff. So it was nice to then bring it back down at the end to just being me again.
Yeah. And let's talk about the artwork for a second, because you shot basically the shot for the EP is something that you captured in Stockholm. Is that right, when you were there?
Yes. Yeah.
And do you do all the photos then? Because there's some really lovely imagery that you've got. Is that all you?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I'm trying to do everything myself, really.
One man
as a DIY artist, you know, I'm trying to do all of the photos myself, all the artwork and all the bits and pieces that need to go along with that. I'm trying to do that. So yeah, I shot that in Stockholm at a World Heritage Site out there, out in the woods.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to describe a couple of the images for people who haven't seen them yet?
Yeah, so it's well, it's actually an anamorphic shot, which is a really widescreen image originally, and it's basically me. I've laid on the floor, and it's a shot looking up into the trees, and these beautiful pine trees are kind of towering over me with this beautiful like blue sky background.
Yeah,
like, not a cloud in the sky. I think. So yeah, it's one of my favourite cities in the world. Stockholm, Sweden, is somewhere that I've kind of come to love a lot. And I was out there 2019 to see The Tallest Man on Earth play, which is a very big influence on my music. So I went to see him play out there. So yeah, it was very special. So everything has a meaning. Everything, you know, is tied to something within the song, or the artwork is tied to a certain lyric or something like that. So yeah,
because a beautiful song is like a really like gorgeous like rolling countryside, and the light from the sky is coming down on it. Where did you take that image?
I'm trying to think now. That one, I love that, how the sky, like half of it's you know, dark over here, and I can't remember where that one was taken actually. I think it might have been out in the South Downs or somewhere around there. But yeah, that's a really beautiful photo, and I think it kind of, for me, reflects the song is obviously singing about this beauty, and then it's also singing about a little bit of pain and hurt as well, and it's finding beauty within the pain and also within the good times as well. So I think that image of, you know, the sun beaming down and half of this beautiful countryside being illuminated by the sun and half of it being in shadow, I think really represents what the song is about.
And did you find that like your trips abroad, like we said, like you went to Stockholm and gigging last year, did that kind of help inspire your songwriting as well? Were you able to be like, you know, kind of creative when you were out there as well?
Yeah, definitely. Feeding off creativity of other people and listening to other people's stories and learning from other musicians and just, you know, general people that I met whilst out touring or just driving around and stuff like that, and learning from other people's experiences. Yeah, I think a lot of that has fed into the music, and there's you know, I'm always listening out for little lines or phrases that people say that I think, oh yeah, that's really touched me, or I've really found something in that. So yeah, I always try and make it very personal. So yeah, it's been very important to have those connections with people, and that's helped form the songs for sure.
And in terms of like your songwriting during lockdown, obviously, you know, you just released the EP, you've been up to a lot, but has that kind of, has lockdown, I don't know, is your kind of like output kind of increased a bit, or is it being a bit difficult to like carry on writing things? How have you found it?
I think in the first lockdown, I told myself, you know, every day I'm going to learn a new song and I'll do my own version of it, and I'll learn the song in the morning and I'll shoot a cover video in the afternoon, then I'll edit it and put it up, and it just got so exhausting.
Not expecting much of yourself, are you?
No, yeah, exactly. I was like, you know, like everyone else, I guess I felt like, I need to take this time to do something creative.
It was a lot of pressure, wasn't it? It was a lot of pressure on top of a big pandemic. It was
absolutely, yeah. It's just like, come on, what do we expect of ourselves? We don't want much, do we? So yeah, I was like, I'm going to do that, and you know, that happened for a couple of weeks, and then it like trailed off, and I tried to write, but I found it very difficult. But I've been writing a lot more now. I've written a new song called Berlin, actually. I think a future EP, I think, is going to be based off of stories from these cities that I've been to. So there'll be a Budapest song and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So I've written a new song. So yeah, I'm finding the writing is slowly coming back now. Now that there feels to be a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, you know, and spring is here and all that kind of stuff. You know, the days are longer, and you know, and so I feel like it's slowly starting to creep back out of me again. Songwriting is appearing. So yeah, we're getting there.
Exactly. And is it something that you normally do by yourself, or are you looking to kind of collaborate more with people? And do you prefer doing stuff by yourself or in collaboration?
No, I think I'm going to collaborate a lot more with people. Hannah Kane, who plays under the name Gecko and the Bee, she sings on the record. We're going to be writing some more music together, and she's going to appear on some forthcoming recordings that I'm going to do. I like collaborating with people. Just I feel like I get very precious over the songwriting. So I feel like it's a story that I want to tell, and what if it's it might not be told in the way that I envision it, kind of thing. I get quite precious about it. Not that I don't trust anyone else, but I just think, this is super important to me, and I need to tell this in a very specific way. But the group of musicians that I do work with are incredibly talented, so I'm really fortunate to have some very special people in my life, for sure.
Yeah. And who's influencing you at the moment, music wise?
I'm listening to, and I have not stopped listening to, a record by Lizzie McAlpine. It's called Give Me a Minute, the record. And she's like folky indie pop. It's on acoustic guitar, and it's a beautiful record. I literally cannot stop listening to it. So that's been on repeat a lot. Specifically a song called Where Do I Go? It's beautiful. Also a guy called Taylor Ashton, who is kind of similar folk on the acoustic guitar and banjo. A song by him called Nicole. He's got an album called The Romantic, which he put out last year, which is amazing. Tallest Man on Earth is my biggest influence. He's a folk singer-songwriter from Sweden.
Is that why you went to? That's why you went to Stockholm to?
Yes, yeah. So I went to see him play. Gregory Alan Ishikoff and people like Damien Rice. I'm listening to so much, but I get trapped listening to these same records because I love them so much. Like the Lizzie McAlpine record, I can't stop listening to it because it's just so beautiful. I think that's all I'm listening to at the moment. Really, lots of folk.
Yeah. Do you think that's kind of like the road that you'll stay on for a while?
I think so, yeah. My band Hometown Show are going to be recording a new EP soon. We're going to do it in a similar fashion that we've done, recording it in our homes, isolated away. So it's kind of getting into a different headspace, which I do find difficult sometimes because, I'm in this very raw singer-songwriter, open, honest, upfront, this is me. And then I kind of have to switch gear to be able to really upbeat bluegrass Americana. So it's quite a hard process kind of switching over. I have to start kind of changing my listening habits.
Really?
And then I kind of move,
get yourself up to it.
Stuff. And then just move over to listening to these country bands that we love and are inspired by and stuff. So
Cool. And apart from like the EP and you've got the new single coming out, what other releases have you got planned for this year?
Well, so I'm going to be working on a new EP. So that will come out, I don't know when, probably later on in the year. This EP that's kind of centered around stories from these cities that I've been to, so Berlin, Budapest, places like that. I'm also going to release a song at the end of April, which was written for a friend of mine who sadly passed away last year. So I'm doing a very special recording for
that would be special, won't it?
Which I think is going to be, fingers crossed, it's in the recording process at the moment, but I think it's going to be full band Somewhere in the Wildwood. So drums, electric guitar, bass, with it's kind of a 70s American folk rock vibe. So
looking forward to that.
Yeah, so that would be very interesting. Yeah, and then I guess the EP with my band Hometown Show, when we get that on the go, I think that will probably be out around June time. So lots of stuff. As the world starts to open back up, there's lots of projects and plans on the horizon.
I think it's really great, because you've managed to like keep going during a really hard time and still be creative. So I think it's great what you're doing. So keep doing it, and then if you're in London, once the studio reopens, then we'd love to have you, and you can play some songs for us. That would be great.
I would love to.
So how do we get hold of your EP, and how do we follow you? Give us all the information.
Yes. So you can buy the EP from www.somewhereinthewildwood.bandcamp.com. So that's the only place you can get it from. There's going to be tracks on streaming, and there's a couple of tracks up there at the moment, but to get the whole EP is only at the Bandcamp page, because streaming doesn't always work.
It's tough, isn't it?
For smaller artists, it's not as easy. And I feel like if I've got this record here that's kind of a bit of a limited edition almost, you can just get it on the Bandcamp page. So you can pick up the full thing there. There's a physical version, there's maybe like 3 physical copies left.
Yeah. I think you should do some merch. I think you could do a t-shirt with the artwork.
This is what I was thinking. That. Yeah. So hopefully some t-shirts. There was a limited run of t-shirts that I did earlier on in the year when I managed to play like one show in August last year. So so Bandcamp is where you can get the physical CD and the digital download. Obviously there's a couple of tracks up on Spotify and Apple Music, all that kind of good stuff. Facebook.com/Somewhere In The Wildwood, and on Instagram it's at SITW Music.
Excellent. So we'll have to follow you there, and I'm waiting for the t-shirt.
Yes,
I'll be first in line.
Yeah.
Broken-hearted on a cold October morn, muddy coffee in a paper cup, 'cause I barely had much sleep. You've been giving me the reasons and the whys, but it's hard to find any solace in the truth. All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done. Did it really have to go on for so long? My dear, I've loved and I have lost, and now that the summer sun is gone and the winter chill has surely settled in, these cities framed by the memories we've made. Oh, and it's hard to explain how I'm so beholden to the pain. All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done. Did it really have to go on for so long? All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done. Did it really have to go on for so long?